Well, good evening and welcome to this edition of the EPL and Bermudians Overseas Show here on IslandStats.com. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Joining me is co-host Jason Juggling J. Ford, and we're awaiting the arrival of Antoine Augustus as well. Well, Jay, very interesting weekend in the English Premier Division, as well as we know they had the League Cup yesterday. Let me just run down the results from the English Premier Division as well as the League Cup. It was Everton 1, West Ham 1, Southampton 1, Wolves 2, Ipswich Town 2, Nottingham Forest 2, Manchester City 2. Ipswich Town 2, Nottingham Forest 4, Manchester City 2, Brighton Hove Albion 2, Bournemouth 1, Brentford 2, Arsenal 1, Chelsea 0, Fulham 2, Tottenham Hotspurs 0. And in the League Cup final, it was Liverpool 1, Newcastle United 2. I know. Let's jump right into. We're joined by Antoine now. Let's jump right into this League Cup final, Juggler. Obviously, over the last few weeks, I kind of watch or listen to the games via the Sky News, so you get pundits talking whilst the games are going on. And I've noticed the last 3 or 4 weeks when Liverpool are playing, a lot of the pundits are identifying that Liverpool have been struggling with a low block. Earlier they were managing to get themselves out of it, but they've been struggling with it. And clearly what Newcastle was able to do yesterday was capitalize on the things that PSG done midweek and then exploited them yesterday.
Yeah, I mean that's been. But tell me, what team in the EPL doesn't struggle through low block, right?
Yeah. Well, earlier in the season, they were managing to get themselves out of it with ease, with 1 or 2 passes. But now, it seems like they're struggling with the passes to get themselves out of it.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference in yesterday. I mean, some people say the energy level of the Liverpool players, but I just think style-wise, right? Sometimes you say style make fights, right?
Uh-huh.
Liverpool's midfield has been consistent throughout the season.
Yeah.
Whether they've been scoring goals or not, I mean, you look at how many penalties that Salah scored. You take those penalties away, it might be a different team. But
Right.
The midfield has been a pretty consistent with Gravenberch and McAllister in the midfield.
Mm-hmm.
What Newcastle did is it almost reminded me, and you heard Klopp used to complain about, you heard Slot complain about, it's the old style of playing football in England.
Yeah.
Over the midfield.
Eliminate the midfield.
When did and I say this because Earl, we saw a lot of teams, even some on the weekend, and I saw this even with United this week. How many times did Newcastle play out of the back?
Very rarely, if ever.
So they never gave Liverpool a chance to even high press them to get the ball from them.
Right.
And they got a man who 6'4", 6'5",
6'6".
Yeah. They target him. What I couldn't understand, that Liverpool continuously on set pieces or especially corners have McAllister, who's probably one of the shorter men on the pitch, trying to defend Burn there. They got away with it a couple of times, but then the girl was a man against boys.
Yeah. A good header just before the half. Antoine, welcome.
Yes.
You hear us talking about the Liverpool Newcastle. Give us your thoughts on the match itself.
Like Juggler said, it's freaking. I enjoyed myself. Manchester United, I freaking enjoyed watching it. But no, that was an excellent game. Newcastle, they came to perform. And the thing about it, I think the commentator said it at one point, like, this is which Newcastle are we going to get? Like, this is, I think one commentator said it at one point, like, this is which Newcastle are we going to get? Like, this is which Newcastle are we going to get? Like, this is which Newcastle are we going to get? Like, this is which Newcastle are we going to get? Like, this is which Newcastle are we going to get? Like, this is which Newcastle are we going to get? Like, this is which Newcastle are we going to get? Like, this is which Newcastle are we going to get? Like, this is which Newcastle are we going to get? Like, this is which Newcastle are we going to get? Like, this is which Newcastle are we going to get? Like, this is which Newcastle are we going to get? Like, this is which Newcastle are we going to get? Like, this is which Newcastle are we going to get? Like, this is which Newcastle are we going to get? Like, this is which Newcastle are we going to get? Like, this is which Newcastle are we going to get? Like, this is which Newcastle are we going to get? Like, this Are we gonna get the one that beat Arsenal, that can't beat us, that went to the semifinals and beat Arsenal, or is we gonna get the Newcastle that's been going on in the league? So I think we got the Newcastle that's of the Arsenal, the Newcastle from last season when Newcastle was running in top five, top four in Champions League, Europa. But I would say that the goal was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Juggler, you know what the frightening part for a club like Newcastle is right now is that, okay, so they're guaranteed Europa football next year, but you already hear of other teams looking to take some of their players already.
And also, you're talking about attrition too with injury. I mean, I stated a couple of years ago that Gordon is such a big instrumental part in their attack, right? Also heard a stat today saying that Liverpool has played a total of 9 more games than Newcastle, right? But when you start talking about playing Champions League and Europa, and you're talking about people purging your players,
Yeah.
you even have the depth, right?
Right.
I mean, Isak. I mean, Liverpool's been wanting Isak for how long now, right?
Yeah.
And even good. I mean, he was a menace.
And remember, he's just come back.
The confidence
he was out for 2 weeks.
But the confidence that he has, right, unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
Even the offside goal that they scored was a good goal, right?
Right.
If it wasn't for the captain being in the way, the goalkeeper, that would have been,
Yeah.
But I say it again. It's I'm starting to see, more teams starting to play more direct, especially against teams, and we notice a lot with teams playing against City, when those teams are heavily dependent on the midfielders to control the tempo of the game. Some of these teams says, you know what? Let's go over the midfield.
Yeah.
Let's take them right out of the game. And that's what you was finding. They was playing over the midfield, and because they wasn't dropping enough, and the coach wasn't making for some reason, it didn't seem like he was making the adjustments.
Yeah.
What he's I don't know. He's been off the touchline for a bit, so I don't know what happened. He got a little. I don't know.
You could say he's been off the touchline, but he ain't far away from the.
No, he's not far away from no.
Yeah, I mean, there's another team in Europe that have a coach that's banned for. He can't be on the touchline. Now, I don't understand, but he can't be on the touchline on game days for the next 5 or 6 months, but he can prepare the team through the week and select the team, but he can't go in the change room. He can't do nothing match day. You honestly believe that he ain't sitting up with his earplug in, and that's how these managers do it nowadays. You're not hurt. If it's to penalize a team by doing it that way, you're not penalizing anybody.
No. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
You're just making a mockery of the rule that you set, basically.
Correct.
Yeah, but if you look at it, it's been a tough week for a team like Liverpool.
You took the words right out of my mouth just now.
Yeah, I mean, out of Champions League on Tuesday, and then lose the League Cup, the cup that they were defending on Sunday. Boy, not the week they want to remember.
Yeah, I was just saying that before I came on. I was like, last week we was on Liverpool, like you said, Liverpool was going for 3 cups.
Yeah.
Now
the coach has work to do because it's 9 games left. It ain't over.
No.
It's not over.
It's over, man. It's over, man.
But we can say that. We can sit here and say that, and then in 3 weeks' time, we're sitting there saying,
man. I gotta get 1 point, man. Come on.
Steven Gerrard, that's all I gotta say.
Stranger things have happened.
I'm not the biggest Liverpool fan, but that fat lady
the season's not here. They deserve at least 1 trip.
Yeah, just that fat lady's hollering, man. They done all that business in the first half.
Yeah.
and they deserve it, right?
Yeah, right.
The second half, they're definitely not. It's definitely not a championship team in the second half. But the first
Right.
half, they put their business in when everybody else couldn't put their business in. So yeah, most definitely.
Well, they got Everton after international break. Everton's fighting for survival as a derby.
Okay, so you can get a draw.
Everton.
You get
And the thing is, that's not going to be easy for Everton at Liverpool, because remember what happened at Everton the last time those two teams played, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And then you had that big bust up at the end, which happens in football, unlike makes headlines in Bermuda all the time, and when a little scuffle goes on and that, and you want to read about it 3 and 4 and 5 days because reporters lazy enough just to do it like that and gets away with it. But you had a big bust up at Celtic Rangers yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, so come on. Yeah, it's not gonna be easy. I mean, it's not gonna be easy. Everton's safe right now. So Moyes has done the job that he was brought in to do.
Yes.
So hold on. Even you lose to Everton, okay, key Everton, right?
Yeah.
They got Fulham, West Ham, and Leicester.
That's when they'll win the league.
No, your boy. Well, I can't.
If United, the way United looked against Leicester yesterday,
no, I can't say that. You can't say that. Manchester United look awesome. Manchester United
my point, they look awesome against Leicester.
They look awesome against Real Sociedad too. So,
okay, but they look awesome against Leicester. With a bunch of kids out there.
You know, we have Manchester, not to go ahead, but Manchester United has played Leicester City 4 times in every competition.
Yeah.
And beat them 4 times.
I'll get to it again. Leicester.
Second from the bottom, right?
You're not helping your point here, mate. Liverpool's only going to get 1 point. If they can't get it from none of those other teams, I'm pretty sure they can get 1 point from Leicester.
And then I got Tottenham. You know, they got one from Tottenham.
You know what's funny?
It'll be over by then.
Yeah. You know what's funny? You listen. Southampton played at home. Leicester played on the road. And at the end of the games, as much as these teams have been struggling all year, the fans are booing them at the end of the game. And I'm saying, well, hold on. If you're that pissed off at what they do, don't show up.
Nope.
I've been like this all season. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like you're in the middle of the table and now all of a sudden you lost all these games. You got 9 points, man.
Season ticket holders, Earl.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm gonna go, if I'm gonna go and be disappointed as a season, I might as well stay home and be a disappointed person as a season ticket holder.
Season ticket holders, mate. Season ticket holders. Remember when they brought those tickets, everybody had no points.
Well, yeah.
and they got promoted.
Yeah.
And they got promoted, so everybody was on a high.
But one thing's for sure. One thing is for sure. The 3 teams that go down. Big press. What's that?
Or put it this way, you could write off the 3 teams that they're going down now. Wolves,
But
that victory that Wolves got this week really helped them.
Yeah. They'll have a big press when they go down because they get part of the Premiership television rights.
Yep.
Considerably more than what the Championship get.
Yep.
So they'll be in a position financially to get back to the Premiership right away. It's whether or not these players respond to it and they're able to get the right personnel.
Earl, that sounds nice, but you didn't know how much money. You didn't know how much money they spent to get the players that they have now to be in the Premier.
Yeah, that's true.
So they that money might be just going back in the bank to tell you what they spent. Yeah, pay off. Exactly.
Wow, look at what's his name? They were in the league last year, and now they're like at relegation in the Championship. Like what's that? I can't remember what that club's called. That stadium was around in the neighborhood. It was like Devon Chirac Field. What was the name?
You're not talking about Portsmouth, are you?
No, they were in the Premiership last year.
Last year?
Yes, and they got relegated.
I don't know.
Hold on. Burnley?
No, not Burnley.
Wembley Sutherland. Sutherland was in there. Swansea. West Brom, Hull City, Derby.
Oh, Stoke City.
No, not Stoke City. They're in last place right now.
Luton was Luton was up last year.
Luton.
Yeah.
Luton Town.
Yeah,
Luton Town.
yeah.
So what happened with that money that they got? What happened?
Yeah, but like Juggler said, they could have been. How long have they been struggling, but still having to pay all these guys, and they got promoted, but a lot of that funding would have gone back into what they had spent out to try and get them.
I've tried to fix up that stadium.
And I'm gonna show you another caveat that you guys keep forgetting. When you go through a whole season like this, 9 times out of 10, if you're in the bottom 3, that means you've already got rid of your coach, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're paying him off and paying the new guy too.
That's right. Another bill on top of a bill.
Okay.
Yeah.
They didn't take long to fire that coach, now did they?
Not at all. Not at
The
all.
same guy that brought him up, right?
Yeah. It's amazing.
So yeah, I don't it's but no, it's Wolves are probably the best winners for the weekend if you ask me.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's take our first commercial break. I do want to say at the top of the hour, we're going to be joined by Nikita Robinson, the coach of the women's national team, and we'll be discussing upcoming matches, what's in store for the women's national team in the coming months. But we'll be right back.
Putting down a weapon.
You seeing this? You shouldn't have to sacrifice fresh quality groceries for convenience. With Drop It, you get the best of Lindo's delivered island-wide from Somerset to St. George's. It's simple. Shop online and we'll bring it to you. Spend less time shopping and more time for what matters most. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
Beneath the clear blue sky, where the ocean meets the land, and the long-tails fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, proudly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, and every single day for over 135 years. It's been clear, it's silence, proudly Bermudian. Bringing us near. Cause we are proudly Bermudian. Digital is proudly Bermudian. Digital is proudly Bermudian.
And welcome back. Well, yeah, let's continue this conversation. We talked about Manchester United getting by Leicester yesterday, 3-0. But the another tough battle. Arsenal edging Chelsea. There were plenty of cries and calls for handball in the box, foul in the box for both teams. Arsenal managed to get the goal that they needed. Again, they continue to have that goal scoring pressing problem due to an abundance of injuries to front players. Antoine?
Yeah, Arsenal, yeah, they're creeping. How much points are they behind? They're,
12. 12.
no, they're creeping. I don't know what's going on. Like you said, they were the beginning of the season. They was jumping. They were going, getting results.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're just trying to get to the end of the season. The results is not looking good. Against Chelsea this weekend, I thought they would have got more goals. Honestly, I really did. I don't know if Chelsea's defense was pretty good, but that's what I can say.
Yeah, but of late, Chelsea's been losing games by an odd goal. They've been winning games by an odd goal as well. Juggler, let's talk a little bit about Chelsea, because that's Jacqueline Hyde. Sometimes these last few weeks, they've got in their last 5 games, they've lost twice. They lost 3 and won twice.
Well, you can say that. The second, third, fourth, and fifth place team of Jacqueline Hyde, right? Because you don't know what you get with either of these teams from week to week. It's funny you mentioned about the handball appeals, right? So I was out there in Chirac the other night watching the semifinals with PAC and North Village. And I've never been to a game that I've heard so many appeals for handball in my life.
So you got a cricket match, isn't it?
I'm like, okay. And I'm like, there's no way the referee could see it, because I mean, if I didn't hear it 10 times, I didn't hear it once, right?
Right.
So when you said it just now about this game, and I watched, I was like, man, this is like deja vu. This was like last night. In saying that, I can't even say Chelsea's missing Cole Palmer because he hasn't been on form for the last month, right?
Yeah. His thinking right now was
right. So, but when he was flying, Chelsea was flying.
Yeah.
Right. So Reece James has been in and out. I don't know how he got picked for the England squad. Really, I'm still trying to figure that out.
It's Ian Week.
I'm still just trying to figure that out, right? Chelsea needs a goalkeeper, and that's just point blank. That back line doesn't have any confidence in the back line, in the goalkeeper. No, and you look at Arsenal, for the sake of Arsenal has conceded the least amount of goals in the league, right?
Right.
So it's not the defense. Can you say soccer means that much to them? Well, evidently.
Yeah.
Evidently. Yeah. So to see what that 1-0, it didn't really surprise me. If it was 1-0 Chelsea, Arsenal, I wouldn't have been surprised either.
Right.
Because like I said, what are you going to get on the day? You're not expecting those two teams to score much, because they haven't scored much in probably last month. So you haven't really expected that. My thing is now, the only thing to watch English Premier Football for, obviously, to see when Liverpool finishes off, but also who's going to make Europe. Because that's the title, that's the race now.
Well, they said it's been announced that up to 7 teams in England.
I heard even more.
Yeah. At least 7 teams will make will make it into Europe. And if you look at it right now, that's working from 7th through 1st is Brighton, Newcastle, Manchester City, Chelsea, Nottingham Forest, Arsenal, and Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if you look at it, 10th is Bournemouth, they have 44. 7th is Brighton, they have 47, along with Newcastle at 47, and Manchester City at 48. So,
and how many games we got left? We got what, 9 games left?
Yeah. So that's drastically going to change in some way, shape, or form.
Some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Over the next, I would say 6 weeks, 7 weeks, where we'll see who's going to get into and well, United are 10 points away from 7th place right now, and they've only won 2 of the last 5.
No, that's finished. The only way in for them is Europa. That's it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That they would have to make up. They'd have to go unbeaten for the remainder of the season. The play last already. So
Antoine, what would you do, Antoine, if you was coach, Antoine?
For what, United?
Yeah.
Me?
Hey, he sounds like the current coach now.
No, I say that because Antoine, if you go to United's that week, there's 2 weeks that they have to play Lyon.
Yes.
In the next round, right?
Yes.
They are sandwiched by big games in EPL.
Exactly.
What we would call big games, but really they have really no. It doesn't mean much for United now, does it?
No.
When they're sitting at 13th place.
Yeah, the only way in is to win in Europe.
You win in Europe, and to answer your question, I've thought about it now. I will basically, I will rest my star players like Bruno and on our goalkeeper. I will rest all these star players and just use them for Europa because I'm only concentrating on Europa. I'm safe. I'm safe.
But that sounds nice though.
Yeah,
I'm safe.
The devil's advocate is you want to get into a rhythm.
But that sounds nice. Huh? But you know they're not going to rest Bruno for against the derby.
Okay, when I say rest him, he won't start. He won't start.
Okay.
He won't start. He'll come off the bench. I will give him at least 20 minutes, 15 minutes tops. When the game's out of hand or when we're losing, just bring him in. When we're not losing, bring him in. Just let him get his feet back, and just play my youngsters because, like you said, Manchester United is not getting relegated. So it's just right now, it's just try to stay into Europe and win Europa. Let's win Europa.
What about the derby, though?
Champions League.
What about the derby?
We already beat City. We ain't worried about City.
Because you got the derby on the 6th, right?
Yes.
Europa on the 10th.
Yes.
Newcastle on the 13th, and Europa on the 17th.
Yes.
So you're saying rest up against City and rest up against Newcastle.
Okay, okay. Look, Nottingham Forest when we come back from international break, yes.
Yes.
Nottingham Forest, City, and Newcastle. After them 3 games, I'm not because we don't know if we're going to be still in Europe around Newcastle. We could, because when we come from, we do Nottingham Forest, and then we go to Europe, then we go back to City.
No, we go Forest, home to City, then we go to Lyon.
Okay. So, but for me, I'm throwing in the towel after Newcastle.
But how do you convince the 68,000 fans that come to your stadium?
No, 70.
Okay, 70. But it's probably down to 68 anyway. So
no, it's still 70. That's still low. People are paid to come cheer against us. Do you know, Earl? I want to say the largest away area they give to the away team is only like 3,000 people.
Oh yeah,
to the pro team. Yeah.
Wow, that's a little bit.
It's 69 to 68,000 United fans every week.
Okay, and you're trying to build 100, and you're trying to build 100,000 stadium.
Right, that's why.
Was it
That's
was
why they're consistently getting that.
the
Right.
Wembley of the North?
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you already got people complaining about the ticket prices. You build
And it
100.
went up. They just said it's going
Yeah.
back up next season.
Yeah,
They said that about Tottenham too, right?
but they pay it.
That might be. There you go.
Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
But then who's gonna pay it if Manchester United is just doing 38 games plus League Cup and FA Cup?
It's the experience, as they will tell you now. It's not just the game; it's the experience.
I want to see Real Madrid coming to the stadium. I want to see Barcelona coming to the stadium. I want to see, I don't want to just see
No. Stop that
Leeds
because not
United versus Manchester United, even though that's a derby.
so. Not
But
to
you got
go
to
up.
start from somewhere. So this is the way to start.
Hey,
You gotta
not to
rebuild.
go up. Not to go off schedule here, but did you see all the the Jamaicans were mad? Yeah, some Jamaicans
yeah.
were mad that there was more
Messi,
Jamaicans. There's more Jamaicans wearing Messi jerseys and
Yeah.
shut up Messi's name than for the team. And I was
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
some
yeah.
stuff.
Come on. If it happened to Bermuda,
Well, we know what would happen in Bermuda. It happens on a regular week.
Yeah.
But that's something that no, I mean that's going to happen. I mean, people's going to supply and demand. You think they're doing it because it ain't no demand for it?
Yeah.
They won't get the back in front of the bank if there weren't a demand for it.
Right, that's true.
So,
Let,
and we're not talking a little couple of $100,000. That's what,
no,
$2 billion?
No. You heard the
$2
B.
billion, I heard.
You heard the B after he said it, right?
Yeah, $2 billion. Yeah.
Yeah, you heard the B after.
Yeah. They're but like I said, interesting. Interesting who's going to make Europe, because once again, how does that team are able to bring players in, or can those teams survive next year of playing X amount of games where
Right.
some of the other teams like United will be playing once a week?
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad you said that, because that tournament in the United States this year over the summer, where Manchester City and Chelsea will be playing, it's going to be a tricky time for them, because generally they will have half the summer off.
yeah.
They'll use the United States trips as preseason games, but these are meaningful games now, because it's a big payday as you get into the tournament.
Yeah, but it's still got a good quarter of players, French players that will be in that tour, man.
Well, City this season complaining about they tight. They played XYZ in the last
Yeah, but
three seasons.
this time and this tournament here is a big money maker for them, and the way FIFA have set it up, and clubs want to progress because of the financial benefits from it.
Well, that's these. So once again, that's gonna the owners and the directors, they love these tournaments, right? That's something for them, right?
Yeah.
The players. If you're talking about these players who have been, remember some of these players are still tired because they just came off the World Cup.
Yeah. So this
They really haven't had no break, right?
Yeah.
So some of those major players are just burnt out, and you're gonna have to kill them. Yeah,
the rest coming, and the scary part is, remember, this summer will be a huge break for them, because come next summer is the World Cup.
It's the World Cup, exactly. So you almost have to take the break this summer.
Yeah. Well, they'll take the break internationally, but they won't take the break from the club. And the club's going to turn around and say, well, we pay you.
No, let me tell you what the clubs will do, because I've seen it. I've been a couple of games when they have in these states. What they'll do, they'll carry some of these main guys, but they won't give them the minutes that they'll put them on the field and I see what you're saying earlier as far as the financial side, right? But at the end of the day, they have to manage these players for
Oh
the
yeah.
season,
Oh yeah.
and
Without a
and it's
doubt.
not just EPL that they're gonna play in, right?
Right.
So I know the tournament means so much for the sponsors and this,
Yeah.
that, and the other, but yeah, that's 3 to 4 extra games that they're not
Yeah.
giving all out. I could tell you that for a fact.
We'll see
Yeah,
who's serious and who's not, because it'll be a very interesting. I mean, FIFA's dangled that carrot, and like you said, the administrators and the boardroom people, yeah, the carrot's been dangled for them, and then how much does that carrot go on? That those boardroom people give incentives to the players.
yeah.
Well, the catch 22 is now is that these players are making so much money,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
right? So that incentive, what does that incentive even look like? Because
Yeah.
when these guys, even you just go for Rashford, you're making £350,000 a week, and you're barely starting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What is the incentive to play in the off season? What is that incentive? Another million?
Yeah.
Sheesh. I'm
And,
just looking
and,
at the,
I was saying a million, but would that even be worth it for this guys where they can get rest?
Yeah. But it's gonna take that. It's gonna take a negotiation between the club, national team, the physio people. What shape is this guy in? What is the mental shape that is in? And obviously everybody's gonna start looking, as you see already. This coming up weekend, you're gonna start to see teams putting things in place for the World Cup, because it's now qualified. It's crunch time now.
punch, yeah.
This extra games earlier reminds me of the conversation they was having with the NBA about 6 months ago.
Mm.
Having an in-season tournament, right?
Right.
Right, which is obviously is a great moneymaker for the league.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, the players have been balling saying we're playing too many games, right? So it's can come down, like I said, it's can come down to what the players and what they're bargaining to actually do compared to what the owners want them to do, because the owners want to keep making money
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Because for them, it's a business.
Yeah. So I know it's gonna be tricky. It's gonna be tricky.
Yeah,
Gonna
without
be
a doubt.
tricky.
Without a doubt. We are.
Let's see what
I
happens.
am waiting for Coach Kita to log on. I did have a message from her that she was running a bit behind time, but we expect her shortly. So when she comes on, we'll just bring her into the conversation. But yeah, let's. You brought up a team, Manchester City. They've been of late struggling as well, drawing 2-2 with Bournemouth at home too. Their last few games, they've won 2, lost 2, and drawn 1. With Bournemouth last 5 games, they've won 1, lost 3, and drawn 1. So when you start looking at teams like City and Bournemouth, Bournemouth want to get into that one of those top spots to get a European spot as well, and they've done enough just to not lose to Manchester City, which is a confidence booster for them, because anytime you're playing a team with a reputation such as Manchester City, and you get a point, you feel like, and especially at the Etihad Stadium, you feel like you've won something going away from here.
No matter what, how that form is in it, no matter don't care how bad they've been playing, just name recognition, right?
Yeah.
Name recognition. And we was talking about fans earlier. Can you imagine the traveling fans that went to the Etihad?
Oh yeah. They go home happy.
What?
They celebrate like Newcastle celebrates.
What? Well, I mean, but the Newcastle situation. I mean, just look how long. What's the last time they won a trophy?
56.
69 years.
56.
Yeah, it's a lot of time. A lot of time.
56 years.
Yeah.
Well, win a trophy.
Yeah.
Gotta be happy for him, man. But you talk about Man City side. Man City side all year looks like how Liverpool played the other day.
Mm.
The midfield where they were so dominant in the midfield over the last decade.
Right.
It's just slow.
Yeah, non-existent now.
Slow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Slow.
It doesn't
And
look like they pay through that midfield.
yeah. And there's the names are still there.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. I mean, it's gonna be interesting when obviously we talked about early in the year when you lose the player of the year. Yes, he's going to make a difference. So it'll be
Yeah.
interesting when he comes back next year. But what changes that City's gonna make to replenish that midfield? That's gonna be key for. That's gonna be key. And
Cap-
if somebody like De Bruyne, where he turn around and go to MLS or Saudi.
Yeah. Because right now, as you wind down your career, it's all about extra money now.
I'm looking
It's
at
got
I'm
way
looking
more
at
money.
I'm looking at City's bench against Brighton Hove Albion. You got Jack Grealish, Kevin De Bruyne,
Mhm.
Silva. Like, are you resting these players? Phil Foden, like,
They're not in form. They're out of form. They're struggling.
Struggling, yeah. Or I'll say this. Remember, Pep has had a good rotation for all these years, and it's
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah.
It has worked all these years.
I that's a hair scratcher.
Yeah.
To
But
see
you,
his bench is better than his starters.
but you looked at that bench, right? Let's
Yes.
think about it. Do you see Silva being there next year?
No. Kevin's probably coming off an injury, like you said. Jack's coming off
Kevin's
an
been stuck with that injury all season, last
yes,
two
yeah,
seasons, right?
yeah,
2 seasons. Gundogan, remember they brought him back.
yeah.
He's probably be gone. So you see why they're trying to push the young players in. Lewis, the Iglesias guy, Mamouche they brought in, Savinho they brought in,
Yeah.
Luka they brought in, Haaland they
Yeah.
brought in. So Kovacic, you don't see Kovacic coming back anytime soon, now, do you?
No.
He'll probably be out. Nunez is probably the only really big, I won't say big disappointment, but they was expecting a lot from Nunez. He hasn't showed up. When they saw him bring on McAtee the other day, I said, okay, well, yeah, this no, it wasn't this game, but the game before. I was like, yeah, this starting to look at the future.
I'm just look. Foden's 24. Kevin's 33.
Yeah. Foden ain't going nowhere.
Jack's 29. Well,
Yeah, but Jack's always injured though.
okay, well, and he was out on the clock. He was out on the turn the other day. So
Yep, and yeah, it's not good. It's not good off the field.
I forgot. Yes, he didn't even come on. So yeah, he's still in hangover.
Party time, man. Party time.
Yeah.
You guys are worrying about the wrong things, man. He can spend his money the way he wants to spend it.
I mean, that's like I said, it's look, I'll say it again. Winning hides a lot of dumb that goes on.
Yeah.
You know, and when you're not winning, then everybody start pointing fingers. Well, this, that, and the other. But 9 times out of 10, it's a culture.
Mm.
And some teams have to get rid of players to win that. Now, I see the story keep brewing. I don't know how much legs are gonna get, but the talk about Pogba coming back. Antoine.
Yeah, I saw that. His
ban is up.
Is up.
It's up, yeah. This week.
But I'm also hearing that Sir Ratcliffe doesn't want to pay the money that he's asking for.
I mean, how much title you guys got?
All I gotta say for me, my key phrase for that: don't do it. 3 strikes you're out. That's for me. Don't do it.
You're
Don't
gonna
do
bring
it.
Pogba back. You might as well bring Ronaldo for another stint.
Let me
And
just
guess what?
imagine.
Hey, I'll take that bet any day.
Just imagine Manchester United having Pogba, Sancho, and Rashford. 3 headaches on that
Hold
team.
on. And Greenwood.
And Greenwood. I can take Greenwood. Greenwood's calm now. I can take him. But
No, I just want to take against the fact that the injuries that even the injury that he had was a significant injury,
yeah,
and it's not going to add. And if you're looking at Casemiro retiring, Ericsson's probably it might give him a 1 year just to hang around to mentor the Collier and the young guys that are coming through.
correct.
But you need legs, right, in that midfield.
Yeah. You got
Any midfield.
And what Pogba's what? 33.
Yeah, but it's played a lot of football. But it's had some like that last injury is a bad injury too, right?
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I probably think he decided to break a few rules.
Try and get himself back faster.
That caused his suspension, right?
Yeah.
Because he probably wasn't recouping the way he wanted to recoup or get back as quick as he wanted to. So it's fine. It's fine that next and I say that because if you look at the couple of young players that were on the field the other day, they all look promising. And I'm hoping I've heard some good news. Hopefully, is about heaven. Yeah, because he looks the part, and that's a Arsenal cast off, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But Arsenal solidified down the back.
Let me just hold it there. We are joined by Coach Keita.
Another Manchester United fan.
I shouldn't say I'm surrounded by Manchester United. Good thing they won against Leicester, but they won.
It's Leicester.
We've lost to we've lost to Leicester.
Yeah.
You're right.
Well, Coach, first of all, welcome. Wanted to get you in because we've seen a lot of international football for the senior men, the under 20 women, under 17 women, and they're off in a few weeks' time. Actually, next week for their next round in Mexico. But I wanted to get a sense of what's been happening with the senior women's team. We see a lot of the women that have been playing in the national team, playing their trade in the UK, in the US. They're active, but what's on the horizon for the senior women's national team?
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing right now. We have a busy schedule planned for the 2025 season, and so far our first two training camps have been canceled. We were scheduled to have one the end of January, and then we were scheduled to have one the end of March. And through no fault of ours, both were canceled. So, it's heartbreaking for the girls. I feel for the girls. I'm used to this training year round and staying ready, but they really haven't had anything since December 2023.
Right.
We had a training camp with Belize last summer, but we haven't been active. And it's good for the ones that's overseas because they're playing constantly in competition, whether it's in school, club teams. But for the local players, they're putting in the work on Sundays, doing the fitness side. They're consistent at training, and it breaks my heart when I have to tell them again, it's not happening. So at this moment, the only thing that we know is happening is Island Games, and that's not till July. So, I'm keeping tabs on the overseas players and what they're doing as well. We have some players that's going to be coming back into the academy who are out for either lack of fitness. We have one player who had a child. So I'll be looking forward to something soon. So that I can get a look at these players,
Yeah, and obviously, we've seen the success and the challenges of the women's program at the national level. with the under-17s and the under-20s of late, which the under-20s took several under-17s to that tournament. Something that you had been working with some years ago, taking some of the younger kids in with the senior team or aging up. Are we still struggling with numbers? The reason why we're doing this?
Yes and no. Again, it becomes an availability thing, right? So some of the older, I mean, they're still under 17s, but some of the older ones were unable to go with the under 20s.
Right.
Some of the older, better ones were unable to go with the under 20s due to just coming off of pretty much almost a month of preparation for the first part of their under 17 journey. So we do have a numbers game that we're continuously playing. However, it's not as bad as it used to be. For the senior women, for example, I don't need to use any under 20 players if I don't want to. I don't need to use any under 17s if I don't want to.
Right.
They have to be exceptional now, to break into, to just even be a part of the training camp, the training squad. So as we're getting older, the gap is closing more. Soon we're not going to need under 17s to make up the under 20 team.
Right.
And we're not going to need under 15s to make up the under 17s, right? And I think we're pretty close with that with the under 17s. I don't think there's any under 15s in the under 17 team.
Right.
So the under 17 team is actually a full under 17 team. They're too ill for under 15. So we're getting there, right? It's now a quality game more than a numbers game. So we're getting a lot of players that's in the age group, but it's the quality now, the mentality. So it's that piece now for us. So the numbers are good, but it's now getting the technical, tactical, social, emotional pieces for those younger teams.
Right. I'm glad you said that, social and emotional, because the next challenge for the under 17 women's team is probably the biggest challenge that they'll ever face before, getting them.
Yeah,
ready.
We played, in the past. The only team we haven't faced is Costa Rica, so we have a pretty good gauge on the Mexicos and the Haiti's, right? I know this group of players will have never played them. These group of coaches. I would say Akila, as of the coaching staff, is on the coaching staff. Also, Aaron Dankins is on the coaching staff. Would have had some experience with both Haiti and Mexico. So they would have a good gauge. It may be Coach Gary's first hurrah with that level, with his group. So it will be a mental game. It will be very mentally tough. Again, you're playing at high altitude, so you know what I mean. Mexico's already got an edge, but again, it's going to take a lot of grind, and it's going to take a lot of mental strength for them to get over that first hurdle. I mean, their first game is against the host, and the host happened to be Mexico.
Yeah. Juggler, you want to jump in?
Hey, Coach. Nice to see you, Coach.
Yeah, buddy.
I don't know if Rich, I think I want to go with you right now because there's so much you said just now. One thing that I've just observed in just the past tournaments, where I've been the under 17s, men or women, I'm glad that we're actually playing competition now. That we're up the top level echelon, and I'm pretty sure you're proud of the men and the women. But in saying that, watching it, there's levels to this, right? Not just tactically, but also for me, the physical side of it, right? The preparation. And, when I saw Canada, preparation, meals, recuperation, I mean, everything you could think of, it was on a different level than all the other teams that came to the island. How do we get there with the lack of resources that we do have? Because obviously Canada's got, I'm pretty sure that pocket is a little deeper than ours, right? But we still have to compete. We have to compete. How do we get across to men and women that to compete on that level?
we have to start with the clients, right? We have to start with the players. So the players have to, first of all, they have to want that. So they have to understand that rest is required. They have to understand, even on tour, we struggle with that. You know, they feel like giving them a curfew or telling them that they have to stay in their rooms is punishment. Whereas in the Canadians, they understand this. These things that we're fighting with, and it's a culture thing, right? Remember, we're an entitled people. So a lot of times it's hard for us to follow the rules. So we look at it and say things like that. So our players say things like that. Well, they have more money, or they can do these things, but money or not, intrinsically we have to be more motivated. Our players, I mean, have to be more motivated. And if you look at what the Canada teams are doing, let's look to mimic what they're doing. You know, we can't be arrogant enough to be like, no, we have to do something better than them. We have to do what they're doing first to catch them. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think that we see that obviously we're part-timers, and they have full staff. You know, their senior man's manager was part of the under-17 staff. So they get to see those players before they even get to the Canadian senior team. So it's a definite network, but we have to start instilling it. And Don Vickers is doing a great job at that with the under-15 girls. Like, we have to make sure that they are willing to work hard. Some of them, it's just easy. And I think that we have to be mindful as a country as to how we go about telling players, like someone, oh, that girl's good, and I have to say she has potential. Because we get to that point of telling our players that they're good, and then we don't look at it from their perspective. Oh, I'm good. What do I need? Why do I need to work? Why do I need to come to every training session? Why do I need to behave myself? I'm going to get selected. I'm already told I'm good. You want to go and win, coach. You're not going to not pick me, right? I'm not going to pick you. But there are other coaches that's not going to not pick those players because they're good regardless of their behaviors, regardless of their training habits, regardless of their eating habits, regardless of their sleeping habits. So again, to get there, we need to make sure the players understand the mindset that is required to get there. We can do all we can with X's and O's and cones and balls. But if the player doesn't understand that they need to do certain things, we're always going to be where we're at.
Yeah. Antoine, you got a question?
Not really a question, but a comment. Like, I've watched Coach Keita from afar in a long time. You know, I'm traveled with her, so I know what Coach Keita's talking about. Like, and I know one thing: she doesn't wait to a tournament. I can tell you probably was late because you had training. Correct?
I sure did. Yeah, I did.
See, it's Coach Keita, she's ready, and that's why I always said, and I'm continue to say it. Our women's national team, one of our women's teams is gonna make it to the World Cup before any of our men's or boys side, because Coach Keita and her staff, Coach Jenkins, Coach Allen, like all the women's side coaches are just the top notch. Don't want to spot like that. They know what they're doing. Not to take away from the men's side, but you know, with a head coach like Coach Keita is, she has everybody else, and Coach Jenkins got them girls doing. And like I said, I'm seeing it firsthand. Like I said, I'm traveling with her, so I know what Coach Keita is saying is absolutely true, and what she's saying is gospel. You see what I'm saying? So.
Thank you for that. It's not easy, guys. I mean, it's, you know, when the 17 girls go to training, like they know what they're training for. Right now, you know, I'm constantly thanking my players for showing up every Monday, every Wednesday. They were showing up every Sunday, you know, and putting in the work to train. And it's almost like, for what? But because we've been doing it for so long, they understand that it's staying ready instead of getting ready. And it's very important for us to understand, but it's also, you know, we have to tailor it so that we don't peak at the wrong time, so that we don't get injuries. So it's not easy. You know, right now it's planning those sessions. How do we plan them? And it's working in our favor a little bit because we train the same time as the under 15 boys. So tonight at the end, they did their session, I did my session, and then at the end we played against each other. So, you know, it's making it work, but it's difficult because the players are just like, not again. You know, tonight I had to tell them we're not having our training camp the end of March. You know, my overseas players, you know, they've already got their coaches lined up. Coaches have already agreed, both for teams and for school, and then, you know, now it's possibly moved again. So it's hard. It's not easy to keep the players motivated, but they stay motivated.
Yeah. It's been a road for you, a journey for you. And the good thing is that many of these, a lot, if not all, of the players in the senior team have been on the journey with you. Give us over the years, what's been your biggest challenge? I hear the challenge you have now, but what's been the biggest challenge for you over the years?
It's always going to be matches. The biggest challenge is always going to be matches. You know, you get these matches once in a while, and then you see what you need to fix, and then it's so long before you have another match to see if what you need to fix works. So it's getting to play, you know, other teams. You know, like you said, it's nice to have us playing against the 20s and the 17s, playing against teams that's going to sharpen us, right? But for the women, at times it's so spread out. Like we have to wait. Before we used to have to wait 4 years for things, but now, you know, it's stuff every year or every other year, but trying to get these matches. And that's why we were so excited about these first two matches, because we really wanted to see, you know, the first two were against a professional team. These ones were against Belize that was supposed to be coming up. But to not now have that, you know, we changed things from how we did in the last tournament, which was the CONCACAF W in 2023. But we haven't had a competition to see what are our new changes, or, you know, we've had positional changes. We've added players to the squad, tactic changes, formation. But unless we're playing, and then I only have maybe 9 local players. So the challenge of getting everyone together to have a proper training camp before we head over to do anything, you know, getting them together a week before we're going to competition. It's not ideal anymore, you know. I have a friend with the U.S. national team, and she's like, yeah, we see them for 21 days before we get a training camp for our tournament. So it's almost like they have them for 3 weeks, 3 7-day camps, and then they have them for a week before they actually go and play in their competition. So, you know, within those camps, they have practice matches against other countries. So it'd just be nice to have that, you know, and I know financially we probably can't afford it, but that's always been a challenge for me, is not being able to have everybody together a little more often than not.
Any final question, Juggler?
Yeah, I know it's been talked about, and I mean, it comes back down to finances again, but I've heard it, even Coach Philly mentioned it the other day. Since we have so many players based overseas now, especially in the UK, what's the chances of actually having those camps in the UK?
I mean, I'll have them anywhere. If they want to send me to the UK, I will have those camps anywhere.
It's a lot cheaper sending you over there than sending 9, bringing 9 back here, right? Or 9, 10.
I mean, you know, we had a training camp in Bournemouth before we went on and won Island Games, but again, you know, that camp was a week before. I know we're scheduled to possibly have one in Scotland before the next Island Games, but I just think it would just be so great to just see everybody before I get to that point, and they can have, you know what I mean? I can bet and make some minor adjustments when we get to that point. The Island Games, it's always great to have Island Games the same year as the CONCACAF W, because when we get to see players, it's almost like a training camp for the CONCACAF W. But I would like to have something before Island Games, you know what I mean? And if that's where it's supposed to be, that's where it's supposed to be. I have no problem wherever it is. You can send me to America and play college teams. It just doesn't matter to me where we go, as long as we're playing against top quality teams. I don't want to play against teams that we're just going to go and beat. We need to work on our offensive game against tough opposition as well, because if we don't, we're just not going to win those tough games, right? We're always going to be working on defense every time we go to a tournament. We know that they are better, so we have to set up defensively to not get smashed. No, I want us to go play against teams that are tougher, that we have to have a good transition game in place and not just sit back and defend, So those things are what kind of holds us back a bit as well.
Any final question, Antoine?
Yeah, I got a question, Coach Keita.
Sure.
So Miss Fisher, she said she's going to play for Bermuda. Will she? Can she get in your team?
Which Fisher?
Maya Fisher,
She what?
Mia Fisher?
Yes, Mia Fisher, yes.
Yeah, she walks in. That's no brainer. I've been telling her to trade the red, blue, and white. When we was wearing red, blue, and white, I've been telling her to trade that red, blue, and white. She walks in, and the players understand these things. Like, my players understand this. Even my local base players, like, they're in a position, they're working hard, and the overseas players have to take their spots because obviously they have an advantage. I see them every week. I see what they can and cannot do every week, and I get to work with them, right? But a player like me, official, yeah, that's, and don't worry, I stay in contact. So it's not like I'm never going to give up on that one. You know what I mean? It's a long shot, but I'm never going to give up on it. I mean, right now, Leilani hasn't made herself available since Island Games. So again, I got to work on controlling my controllables, right? That's more of a controllable one than Mia at this moment. I don't even think Mia has a Bermuda passport, to be fair. But it's other steps before that. But to answer your question, no, she walks in. She walks into the team.
One more question.
Yeah.
About the women's league. How do you? What is this? This will be the fourth season?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about it so far? I know when you used to play for Root Girls or Lady Cougars. What would you call it?
Yes, Lady Cougars. Yeah. I mean, I either attend those matches or I have persons there that advise me on players that I can look at, and then I'll invite them. And again, it's up to them to make the team. So, one last season for sure, Jasmine Spence, who actually had changed her alliance to Wales. And she hasn't played for Wales, so she can come back. So she trained with us once or twice, but then we didn't see her anymore. So, yeah, in the women's league, if someone pops up and it's like, oh, wait, hang on a second. But it's changed so much, right? Since my days of playing, the demand is so much higher now. My demands are so much higher. And it's because they can be, because there is tough competition. There's real competition for positions in the senior women's team.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, I want to say thank you very much for joining us this evening and bringing us up to speed with the senior women's national team.
Thank you.
And obviously, we want to encourage you to keep assisting where you can with the other. I know you already do, but we want to verbally, to tell you to continue assisting the other coaches in the academy with our younger group of ladies, because you've been through it, the highs, the lows, and the roundabouts. So, what these girls are going to come up against at the end of the month. It's not going to be something very easy. And we have to get the public to understand and rally behind these young ladies. It's going to be a daunting task for them, out there. Like you said, altitude is one thing. And then you're playing the host to start a tournament. It's up against it right from the start. But
again, on the start.
Yeah. I know you have a way of getting through to these young ladies, and we want to encourage you to stick with them. And let's see this through, because we want this women's program grow and grow and grow. It's already surpassed a lot of people's expectations.
So
it's only up from here. All right.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Take care.
Well, guys, we want to quickly jump into our overseas players. I don't know if you want to hang around to go through our overseas players, Coach, because some of them are household names for you. So
I gotta go to my mama do this now. The boss
Okay,
just came on the corner and looked at me, so
not a problem.
you
Understood.
can tell me my time's up.
He sent me a message too. So
Have a good
All
night.
right. Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. So we'll start off with, obviously, on Friday evening, the Keyval scoring the winner, what proved to be the winner for Bristol City.
Good goal.
What's that?
Good goal, too.
Good girl, yeah, very good girl. Well taken. There's still a lot of talk about him and a new contract. The manager speaking loudly about it, saying that he wants him to re-sign and so forth. But we haven't heard anything from the boardroom as of yet. But that's an ongoing saga for Naki. Also on Friday night, Leilani Nisbet's team was in action. Chicago Stars. They started their season taking on the defending champions of the NWSL, the Orlando Pride, and they would go down. Nisbet was not part of the Chicago Stars team. They went down 6-0 in their season opener. And then we moved on to Saturday, where you just talked about it, Antoine. Mia Fisher was an unused substitute for Chelsea as they defeated Manchester City 2-1 in the Women's League Cup final at Pride Park. So she's been with Chelsea for now 2 seasons. She has a league title, and now a League Cup title under her name with Chelsea as well. We had Milan Butterfield celebrated a crucial victory with Houston Town. They snatched a stoppage time winner to climb to the top of the Southern League Premier Division Central table. Meanwhile, Rozier Smith-Jones, Reece Jones Jr., Courage Fabula, Riley Robinson, and Malachi Henry were all part of their team that went down 5-2. The Benfield team went down 5-2 to Rayners Lane FC. Justin Dunaway and Keysai Martin faced off against each other at St. James Park. Martin's Buxton FC came out 1-0 winners over Dunaway's Brackley Town. Willie Clemens and Felix Stowe and Walton United shared a 1-1 draw against Waltonham Abbey, and Zani Burgess scored for AFC Quorn in their 1-0 win. That also Roger Lee is also part of that team, but he was not in that squad for this past weekend. We saw the likes of Kane Critchlow and Chelmsford City. They went down 1-0 to Western Supermare. Orde Todd and Brighton Morris played for Sandhurst Town FC, and they were involved in a high-scoring 5-3 defeat to Tooting Mitcham United. Norrie Scott was not in the squad for his Lansing City team's 5-0 defeat to Ramsgate FC, and Janai Butterfield Steve also experienced a tough day as he's now playing for City of Liverpool FC. They went down 3-0 to Atherton. And then on Saturday night, David Bascom and the Baltimore Blast, they delivered a thrilling 9-6 victory over Utica City. And Nia Christopher was an unused substitute, watching her Fort Lauderdale United teammate secure a crucial 2-0 victory over Brooklyn FC up in New York on a very, very dismal night, overcast, very, very hazy night in New York. But they got through it. Yesterday, Bascom's team was back in action. They went down 7-6 to St. Louis. Dale Eve, Juggler, you'll be happy to hear. He made his debut for New Eden Town. It was
nice
a transfer. Albert Church was asked if Dale could come over to New Eton. They had their goalkeeper injured, and Dale graciously was able to get a late transfer and go over to New Eton. And
What's the team called again?
New Eton Town. New Eton Town. And he had a clean sheet in a 3-0 win over Stapen Hill. So it's good to see him back. Kenny Thompson and our AFC Bournemouth women's teammates advanced to the South Hampshire Women's Senior Cup final with a comfortable 3-0 win over Moneyfield. Jasmine Spence and her Newport Pagnell Town women's teammates suffered a 3-1 defeat to Maidenhead United in the Berks and Box FA Women's Senior Cup final at Beaconsfield Town. Aaliyah Nolan and her Bradford City women's teammates, they bowed out of the County Cup at the quarterfinal stage, losing 5-2 to Halifax FC women. However, Ava Frezzoni celebrated reaching a second consecutive final with AFC Sudbury women as they defeated Needingham Market Women FC 3-0. And Frezzoni was the star of the show, scoring 2 goals to advance to the finals. Zakiah Turner and Trinae Edwards both featured for River City Women's and Girls, who were defeated 3-2 by Sheffield FC Women's first team. Trinae has been out for quite some time, but she returned and ended up scoring in the match despite the defeat. So it was good to see her back in action, and hopefully she's sort of looking to get back into the women's national team. I know she had an injury last time out that prevented her from playing a lot, but now that she seems to be back in action, let's hope that she could remain fit and make her way back into the national team.
Mm-hmm. I saw in the Royal Gazette today about a young man just signing a fresh professional contract.
Yeah, he captained his side the other day.
Logan. The 17s, yeah, Logan.
Yeah, Logan.
Yeah.
Good player. Good player. I mean, just watching him over that tournament, his confidence is there. Loves to dribble. Some may think he may dribble too much, but no, a very different look for. I mean, to be honest with you, we're probably missing a player like him with his skills in the men's national team, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he just signed a 1-year contract with Hibs over in Scotland. An academy 1-year deal. Scoring 2 goals over the weekend in the under 18 division. So he's doing well. He's regularly scoring for them. So this is something that he's got under his belt now, and he needs to just kick off from here and try to make his way into the next phase of a professional career at Hibs, and hopefully in a matter of maybe three years time, he'll be in the senior team.
I think he'd be less than that, Earl. No, I'm what he brings to the table.
Right.
He could play defensive midfield or even attacking midfield. He can fill a few positions, right?
Right.
And I even saw him drop off, even playing in defense, right? So, yeah, his definitely a utility knife, and he's only can get bigger and stronger, especially in a professional outfit, right?
Right.
So, it's his definitely a player that I will be hopefully that he'll get sooner than later. Be honest with you.
Yeah. Antoine, let me ask you, Antoine. Let me ask you.
Go ahead.
Out of all the names we just gave you, how many of those players you saw in the Royal Gazette? Oh, okay. I just thought.
Come on, Antoine. How you fall for that, Antoine?
I don't know how. Hook, line, and sinker.
How you fall for that, man?
Hook, line, and sinker juggling.
I'm not interested unless somebody writes it for him and sends it to him. Okay.
Well, so I'm changing the subject.
You know you're not gonna be there. Come on, come on.
No, no, I'm sorry. So the national team, as we know, the national team, men's national team, leave what this week?
They play Friday night in Bermuda.
What?
Yeah, play Friday. Play
Yeah,
Friday.
the Bermuda, and then they
And then
turn
they
around
leave
and go to
Saturday.
Honduras.
Yeah, yeah.
The names that that they have. I see Lejeune that recalled. I haven't
Yeah.
seen him play for the national team for a long time.
So since when they were in where were they? Dubai?
Yeah. Mhm.
When he pulled, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to see him coming back.
Mhm.
Well, Roger Lee is always the Willie Cummins, Oh, and Blankendow, he's been and he got recalled because I haven't seen him for quite a long
Yeah.
time. Yeah, Dijon, what's his name? Parford.
Jair.
Jair.
Jair
Yeah.
Parford, yes.
Mhm.
And then Russell,
Enrique.
Enrique being recalled again,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, they have some youngsters in there as well.
Yeah.
If you look at it, what's his
Tort.
name?
I've never heard that name Tort before.
Tort? Yeah.
Ande's been there.
He scored for a while. Yeah. But
Ande's been there, yeah.
yeah, you see David Jones, who's being rewarded for his goal scoring prowess this season.
Yes,
He's in the
yes.
squad. You see Shaquille Means back into the squad. So you have other senior players in Billy Clemens and Reggie Lee. And Roger Lee. They're going to be senior guys as well as Lee John. They'll be seniors, and Dale Eve as well. So
what little thin on defenders.
Well, I mean that's been a problem for Bermuda since the heydays of when we had when we had Shannon Dennis. Well, we could go back to when we had Randall, Frankie Brewster, Joe Trott. We had Donnie Middle. We always had the pluggers down the middle. It's just now that we're struggling. One of the departments that we struggle in is the height department.
Yeah, because it looks like we got the same amount of defenders as goalkeepers. That's how thin we're looking like.
I was hoping the Carpenter was able to get into the squad from Paget.
Right. Yeah.
He really done well in their select games.
Yeah. I was surprised I didn't see his name. But again, as the coach said, it's about being available to play.
Well, that too, and nobody, like I said, being available and pass everything they need to pass to play. So
right. Carpenter is there, Julian.
He is.
Yes, Julian.
Oh yeah, he's gone as a defender. Yes.
Okay, yes. Okay, well, cool. I'm glad he did. I'm glad. And then also the what's the from Colts.
No, he's not there.
George. Yeah.
No, he's not there.
It'd be interesting to see why if he was unavailable.
Yeah.
Those two players really they really stood out for me in their select.
Mm.
Even if they just made the side.
Right.
Right.
I'm shocked that CJ is not the third string goalkeeper.
If you look at it, only one player from the Binfield team has been selected,
and that's Reece Jones.
Yeah, you've got Reserve been scoring on a regular basis, but he's not been included in the team for whatever reason. It could be he chose not to,
probably chose not to,
or whatever. But yeah. When you start looking at guys who's been playing consistently, all season. Yeah, you would get a little eyebrows raised for the fact that CJ hasn't been included in the team. So it is what it is.
But we did mention about something like that. Some of these players also, contract time. A very critical time in their, their teams overseas.
Right, and that's why, and that was the reason given for several guys not taking the opportunity, such as obviously Nakeem got a contract,
That's
Cole
right.
Hall, Justin Donovan, and
Yeah.
and Drew Kemp. These guys, well, especially those three, the first three I named off,
Yeah.
they're coming to the end of their contract with their current team, and it's
Mhm.
about a business for them. They want to stay.
Yeah.
They want to stay with those teams or working on another contract, with another club. So. It's unfortunate that these games come up at this time,
Yeah.
but you have to make a decision.
And the key Wells is Bradford City is fighting for playoff right
Yeah,
now. So.
yeah, without a doubt, without a
Earl,
doubt.
I'm
Yeah,
unfamiliar with this young Max
I was
Mowbray.
about to ask that. Max Abel, yes. I was about to ask him.
yeah, I'm familiar with him as much as I am.
Okay. Right.
So
Hey,
my
hey,
starting line.
all you need right now is when you get a passport, boss. Once you got that, the starting point is right there.
But put it this way, hey, other teams are doing it. So what last to if you ask me, what last to the table when it comes to that?
Always. So here's
Mhm.
my starting lineup.
Oh gosh,
Here's my starting lineup for Friday.
for Friday,
Dale Eve and go.
not D-Trade.
No, Dale.
No, deal.
Stick.
Okay. I'm just asking a question.
Well, I mean, Earl, you know me, you know how they say, Earl. You gotta, yeah.
Yeah, Dale and go. They'll be between the sticks. Richardson, Lijan, Steve. That's my and I've never seen and Reese Jones. That's my back four. Actually, Blackendale can go in the back. He plays pretty good at back. So Blackendale and Clemens in the middle. Yeah, Parford, King, and
Zico?
yes. No, not Zico. Russell, Enrique.
Oh, so you're gonna start Zico and Reggie on the bench? You're saying?
Reggie, yes. I will put Reggie, yes.
So who you're putting on the bench? You're putting Parford or thing on the or Critchlow on the bench? Which one now? How many players you want on these field? Antoine?
Parford's going on the bench. Parford's going on the bench. Parford's going on the bench. Parford's going on the bench.
Antoine was a 12 side here.
That extra man.
Well, let's
The
see how
stadium's going to be 12. The stadium's going to be 12.
the stadium's giving okay. Well, let's see how close you come to the team picking there, Mr. Finley too. We'll see how you go on. I'll have to play this back when the team's announced on Friday.
Yeah, do that.
All right, fellas. Well, next week we'll be back with another edition of the EPL Bermudians Overseas Football Show. Obviously, the talk will be about the men's national team, and of course, the players that did not get into the squad. They'll be playing. Actually, some of those teams will be off this weekend because it's international window. But we'll see who's playing it. We'll get their reports and so forth. All right.
Earl, before you go, Earl, it was something that one of our local fans had mentioned, and I said, you know what, a great idea. If the public would notify, which I don't know what the procedure is when it comes to the jersey wearing, what color that we're wearing for these matches on Friday. But if the public would know that, for instance, we're wearing pink jerseys, that we can go out and get these pink jerseys.
I asked that to Mr. Finley last week Sunday, Juggler.
Okay, and what was his answer?
To be honest, I have to go back and play it, but it appeared that
Pink.
whatever.
You know that they love putting Bermuda in pink at him.
Well, Honduras generally wears white.
Yeah.
Blue.
white and blue, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Baby blue, that Manchester City blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the pink will probably be the jersey to wear on Friday night.
Friday night, yeah.
All right. Gotta get my pink jersey. I got my blue jersey, so I gotta get my pink jersey now.
Yeah.
All right, go get my pink jersey. I'll be ready for Friday.
Okay. All right. Enjoy your night, gentlemen.
Yeah,
Hey guys, take care, guys.
All right.